All right, I now call to order this February 5th Friendswood City Council meeting and announce that we have a quorum. Tonight's invocation will be led by Friendswood Police Department Chaplain Mo Mays. Hey Mo, I'm glad you're here. Would everybody please stand, and after the Mo is done invocating, we will say the pledges.
I missed you last month, Mayor, but
I was trying my best to get here.
Had the opportunity to be here last month.
I got to go to College Station on my flight from Orlando. You'd have thought.
Little trip through Aggie Land.
Yes. Whoop.
Well, I had to. I came and shared a little point of comfort last month, and I had a couple things I wanted to share again this month. Two things that, as I've gone and visited different areas, especially in the city, in this time that we've had crisis in our community, two things have come to point, and that's what do I say? And something that I wanted to remind people is just a ministry of presence is what I call it. Just being there for people in a time of crisis and a time of need. And the other thing is, grief is not a choice, and it's a must, but it's a personal journey also. We have to remember that and respect those that are going through that it's their journey, it's not ours, and we have to comfort them and allow them to walk through that journey. But what it is getting through what you will never get over. Let's pray together. As I want to share one scripture, and then we'll pray together. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for loving us. Thank you for watching over us and caring for us each day, Father. We just ask that you be among this group. I thank you for these kids that have an opportunity tonight to serve in their city government, Father. We just thank you for them, and I ask your guidance and protection over them and their families tonight, Father, and in the leadership of our city as they lead and guide and direct. And Father, may we do all things that may glorify you. Father, we thank you for your comfort, and we ask that this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Chaplain. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Good job, students. I could hear you loud and clear. All right. So, item 4A, consider a proclamation declaring February 6th as Windsong Elementary School Day in the city of Friendswood. So I already kind of explained to the crowd about why we do this and how many times we've done it. We've been doing it since 2018. And so this is Windsong's first time doing this, first year having second grade. So we're so happy to have you guys here, and we look forward to you next year. Principal McCashlin, what you do is you call Letty as soon as you leave this room and go, I know what month I want next year. Because, there's 4 schools vying for how many. We try not to do it, in January or in September when you just got back to school. So there's a few months open, but first come, first serve. All right, so I'm going to introduce the students. You guys all just come up this way, okay? And not yet. When I call your name, you come up around this way. And these council members are going to clear out because they don't want to get trampled. All right, first, thank you for being here, Principal McCashlin. I want to recognize you again because it's important that everybody sees you and you're out in front kind of leading the charge. And you know, if any of the kids make a mistake, we'll know who to blame. Not really. I'm just joking. I'm glad you laughed, though. All right, first, City Secretary, number 1, Cash Aiken. Come on up, Cash. And Cash's teacher is Miss Cervantes. In the back there. We have 2 city secretaries because it's hard to replace Letty with just one person. Our city secretary number 2, Olivia Valderas. And Olivia's teacher is Miss Biffle. Yay! Now, council member position number 6, just replacing Brent Aaronworth, is Remy Eubanks. Come on up, Remy. And Remy's teacher is Miss Eubanks. She's not here. She's on jury duty.
Miss Richards.
What did I say? Miss Richards. Sorry. Oh, I don't know where I was reading. Council member position 5, replacing Joe Matranga, is Jordan Cross. Miss Biffle's student again. Do you have 2 sections of 2nd grade? Or they're all in the same? Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right. Council member position 4, replacing Robert Graffon, Dominic Banuelos.
All right, Dominic.
Miss Sheets. Oh, don't damage the furniture. And the mayor, Yalini Vayal. Vayal. Sorry, Yalini. Yeah. You're replacing me, which is not hard to do, and they're always better looking than me, too. Okay, council member position 3, replacing Trish Hanks, Grayson Winkler, also from Miss Richards' class. Council member position 2, replacing the irreplaceable Sally Branson, is Charlotte Jenkins, Miss Goodrich. There you are.
Hey, when you talk, I want you to talk in there, okay?
Council member position 1, we have a new title this year for council member position 1 because Steve Rocky is our mayor pro tem. In case you didn't know, you're very much Latin. Pro tem means mayor in case the real mayor gets hit by a bus. So we have a backup mayor right here, Steve Rocky, and replacing him for a few minutes is going to be Milena Gonzalez. And our city attorney, replacing Karen Horner, the smartest person in the room, is Kabir Desai. And last but not least, our city manager, replacing Mr. Kabiri, Alyssa Thomas from Miss Smith's class.
Right.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'm turning it over to you.
Consider a proclamation declaring February 6, 2024 as Winsong Elementary School Day in the city of Friendswood, Texas. Will the city manager please give the council an overview of the item?
Mayor and Council, tonight you have before you a proposed proclamation declaring February 6, 2024, Winsong Elementary School Day in City of Friendswood, Texas. As you know, Winsong Elementary School is part of Friendswood Independent School District and is an exemplary campus and a source of pride for our community.
Has our city attorney approved the wording of the proposed proclamation?
Yes, Mayor. I have drafted the wording of the proposed proclamation and is in line with the vision statement of the City of Friendswood.
Will the city secretary please read the city's vision statement for the record?
The City of Friendswood has the following statement as its vision. Together we build our future in a friendly place to live, work, play, learn, and worship.
Thank you. I will now read the proposed proclamation. This proposed proclamation of City of Friendswood, Texas, declares February 6, 2024, Winsong Elementary Day in the City of Friendswood, Texas. It is now time to take a vote. Do I have a motion accepting the proposed proclamation?
I move to that we accept the proposed proclamation as presented. I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second accepting the proposed proclamation. Is there any discussion?
At Winsong Elementary, we pledge to be kids with character and we pledge to be bucket fillers. At Winsong Elementary, we will be honest, reliable, and worthy of trust.
We will be responsible and fair doing what we must.
At Winsong Elementary, with our words and actions, we show that we care.
We will be good citizens and do our share.
At Winsong Elementary School, we will respect ourselves and others too.
We will expect the best in all we do.
Would the city secretary please read the motion on the table?
We have a motion by Councilmember Gonzalez and a second from Councilmember Jenkins to accept the proposed proclamation of City of Friendswood, Texas, declaring February 6, 2024 as Winsong Elementary School Day in the City of Friendswood, Texas.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Winsong Elementary School. With there being no other business, I adjourn this council for a day meeting.
That was excellent. That was one of the best second grade sessions we've had. So, Winsong, you guys are setting the bar pretty high. Great job. Now, I'm going to call a recess for our council meeting, and y'all can adjourn to the foyer and eat all our cookies and drink all our punch.
Can we get the one group picture behind the dais
Sure.
of everyone?
Can you get everybody? You want the kids to come over?
They'll have to come. Yeah, they'll have to scrunch up too. This is my niece. Good job. I know your uncle. I thought that. Yeah, let's do the kids in front and y'all behind.
Okay, you guys go out in front.
So something happens. Good job, Mayor.
Yeah, good job. Go around in front. That's mine.
No, you did wonderful. You did wonderful. Are you ready? Stay up here.
Picture right here.
Oh, sorry. My bad. You go down.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm just getting a picture.
Yeah.
Can we get y'all to come around?
Get y'all up front right here. Thank you so much. Aren't you? You're in the front. Can you need you guys in the front? Come on.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, and is squish as much as you can.
I don't know. We don't have Letty yet.
Letty.
All right, ready? All right, ready? Make sure I can see your faces. Smile big. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And if everyone can take their thing down, I want to see your name still. Just bring them down a little bit more. All right, 3, perfect. 2, 1. Thank you. Good job, guys.
Well done. Well done.
Good job, Winsong.
Good. What?
Good job. How does it feel?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to take a picture of the mayor? You're all looking at
You did a good job.
Yeah, really.
Great job, Dominic.
No, you did good.
I got Jolly Ranch.
There you go.
Oh,
I know where all my
gotcha.
Jolly Ranchers are. You're welcome.
What is this?
Now I know where all my Jolly Ranchers are.
What is this for? This looks like that same thing. RCC, Crisis Center. That I already read.
I already had that.
I don't know.
Take care of it.
Hey,
I would do my own, but I will probably mess something up. It's not that I'm unwilling to help. I'm unwilling to break it.
That's fine.
I probably would.
all right. That was a smooth one. I know. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. You nailed it. Yeah, I know it. Whew. How's it going? How are you?
Chris Johnson.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Great job. That was totally worth the trip down here to watch that.
We get to do it 4 times a year now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't had very many ideas, but I like, this is my best idea. I've
Anybody
had.
that's going to come gripe at you, totally undercuts it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be mad at these guys.
Yeah, come and speak at a meeting when we have second graders. And
That's right.
takes spins it in a positive way.
Got it?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So, hey, how's it going? Of course, yes. Good to see you again. Hey, Don.
How you doing?
Hey, Willie. Are we approving you tonight?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, we are for sure. How are you? Good. Good to see you.
I think you might get any time this weekend. I kind of wanted to
get your advice.
There it is.
I'm not going to talk until after the election. I'm gonna stay back and try to mind my P's and Q's.
I've had a bunch of people ragging on me, trying to get me involved in that. And I don't know that I want to get involved.
Yeah.
And that was
my opinion. We got 5 good people on there right now, and I think I hope.
we've got those
Jason's
2 new
gonna-
appointees have absolutely no experience.
But I hear they're learning and making good suggestions and contributing. So we have new council members that start out that way too. So anyway.
They should know to do that. So we want to tell them. Oh, okay. But maybe everyone will.
Yeah.
Are you guard?
Yeah.
D.
And the Kool-Aid. That's all right. Cookies and
That's
Kool-Aid.
like Hawaiian punch. That's the good stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
sweet.
Yeah.
Uh,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden it said internet not working.
Hey, good job. Saturday.
How's it going?
It's good.
Program.
Yeah, sorry to slip out. But,
I saw you slipped out.
but it was
Glad you
good.
got up there for a few minutes, though.
Yeah,
I
that
could
was good.
Call out Andrew and Kimberly as they were walking in.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, for sure. So, who was your firefighter of the year and all those? You remember?
Oh, man, I got to figure all that out. So, Fuentes got member of the year. Tommy Cromas got captain. Carl Klug got first-year medic.
Oh, good.
So, you know.
Good.
I didn't get my invitation.
You didn't get it?
No.
They all got mailed out.
I know. Well,
Hey, Judge, how are you? Great. Good to see you here.
It's good to be here.
Well, I better be on my best behavior here. I'll try not to stumble over my script and put on a good show for you. So it should be a quick meeting, I hope. Hopefully, it will be fairly quick, but it'll be good. We get to hear about a few things, like we're going to talk about fire truck.
Then the parents warm it up.
Because we have a hotel coming in. We've never had to collect hot tax, right? Hotel occupancy tax. But if you collect it from hotels, you got to collect it from people
get
that
credit for
rent
them
out their
having
house
been here.
on websites like VRBO or Airbnb. You have to start collecting. They have to start paying it also.
Okay. I
So
didn't realize that.
that's a state law. So we're going to get a little presentation on that, and we're going to talk about food trucks, and occasionally we have food trucks. I'm not sure exactly what the presentation is going to be, but we're going to learn some more.
How extensive are people renting out places in our town?
I asked Mo. He said, "How do we even know?" He said, "Well, we go on these websites. We say we want to stay in Friendswood. How many of them pop up?" And he said there's about 9. So it is not very extensive.
It's not huge yet.
No.
Oh,
So it's
Okay.
not a big, number to corral yet. So that's good. And Hill, this is our chief engineer.
going?
Hill, that guy, Hill Arias.
Well, let's see.
Okay.
February's
Yeah.
March,
I think
April.
I've seen
I
him
guess
before,
we'll
but
have a
don't
May.
know that I wasn't there last.
No, so
And then
we're
then
good.
there's the.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you have to. Well, it's the first Saturday in May, but it just depends on it's our first Monday. Let's just see.
How's it going, brother?
Senor, what's going on, man?
You're not counting.
Surprised me like that. I've been here getting to work.
Surprise
Okay,
you,
election
yeah. I
day
know.
is there, so I guess does he? I think he would show up.
Well,
'Cause
we
we
will-
have to canvass the
Yeah, we
vote.
won't canvass until later.
Yeah,
that
you
week.
got to show up in May.
I'll be here.
You can't skate out in May.
In all 12 years I've missed
All
one,
right,
and that was
all
when
right.
I was in the hospital with COVID.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, it is warm in here. I may take my jacket off.
Yeah, me too.
I was cold all
Normally
day
it's
today.
freezing.
Yeah. We don't have to stand up again, do we?
Oh,
Yeah, this is my favorite time.
you like this one the best?
I do.
Everybody's always surprised, but I have like 30 ties.
Yeah? I have 60 shoes. I shouldn't even say that. That's embarrassing. Thank you.
What,
I
how
probably
many?
have 70 pairs of shoes.
70 pairs of shoes. Lori probably does too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin, he sent
Yeah.
that.
Expensive, probably. Different occasions, different outfits. So did y'all end up going alone on your cruise, or did y'all find somebody?
What?
Did y'all find somebody to go on your cruise with you? Did y'all find somebody to go on the cruise with you?
his son and
Anyway,
John's
okay.
wife.
We're going to stay on. Let them have their fun.
The son.
Can I turn it? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, good. The eyes are getting old.
All right, now we'll reconvene our city council meeting with item 5, council comments and reports. Councilmember Rocky, I see you.
You know, I only have 3 more meetings, but I'll tell you, I will miss those kids' sessions. They are so much fun for us. So
We'll let you know when we're having them.
And I'm just happy to see the mayor here this month.
Ouch.
I was a poor replacement, but you know, Mike, sometimes Mike kind of forgets my name when he calls on me, but I realized with all that stuff he's got to read, I'm very empathetic.
You did great, Steve. You did great.
I'm pretty feeble-minded.
So, well, I was going to say, I think you did a very nice job. Steve, was last minute, and I thought you did a really nice job. I do have a couple of things, so if I have a few moments. I try not to take up too much time, but I like a few moments. CEDC is going to be helping partner with several other groups, and we're going to be doing a discovery trip to Conroe on February the 19th. If that is something that folks would like to join us on, you need to let Susan Azamaikas know. She's our chair of CEDC, and I know she'd be happy to fill you in with the details. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and you probably heard it in the news, City of Houston had an election in November, and Proposition B passed. And what Proposition B was about was having proportionate voting on our Houston-Galveston Area Council that would also include our Transportation Policy Council. There was a 60-day clock that started at the end of November where those two organizations, and actually Transportation Policy is a spinoff of Houston-Galveston Area Council, and they had to work out a way of how they were going to maneuver through this new charter amendment for the Houston City Council. Last week, Transportation Policy Council met and voted 26-2 to not make any changes. Next week, Houston-Galveston Area Council will be voting. Do not know how that's going to go, but if there are no changes there as well, then Houston's going to have to decide what they want to do with regard to continuing to participate in the Houston-Galveston Area Council. So watch the news. It's been in the news. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up and letting you all know. So pay attention to that. Houston-Galveston Area Council is a 13-county region. We are what's called a COG, excuse me. So it's a conglomerate of government, council of governments. Thank you. I was here COG all the time. Council of Governments. So the whole point or the whole premise behind Houston-Galveston Area Council was to try to create a level playing field for all entities so that all voices could be heard. And right now in the Houston-Galveston Area Council, the City of Houston has 2 votes and Harris County also has 2 votes. So they do have larger or more votes than any other entity that sits on that board. So I just want to make y'all aware of that, and that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything to add today.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to briefly.
Councilmember Griffon.
Yeah, I'd like to briefly go over what's happening at the Friendswood Senior Activity Center in February. They're always doing a lot of great things over there. So if you're a senior and you want to be a senior, go fill out the form, get the physical, and you can get into these activities too. For trips, they're starting a new policy for the first working day of the month. Residents of Friendswood can sign up first for the trips, and then 24 hours after that, non-residents have an opportunity to sign up. But they have some neat trips coming up. They have the Hometown Opry coming up this Friday, February the 9th, and that will be in Pasadena from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Dinner will be at your own venue. And then they're going to be going on February the 13th, another trip, Go Shabu, and you can fix your own shabu. Don't ask me what a shabu is, but you can fix your own. And then on Friday, February the 16th, the Steel Magnolias is going to be at the AD Players Theater. That's $21 a person, and that concludes some of the trips that are happening in February. Tuesday, February the 20th. Oh, wait, they're going to the Pico Ranch, and you can go see the alpacas. And that will be in Brenham, Texas, and that's $10 per person. And we got 2 buses that we procured last year for the seniors, and so they're taking advantage of those. If we can get enough drivers, we're going to be moving several people around and going to some great trips. For events that are coming up, they have the breakfast taco on Monday, well, that's February the 5th. That's today, so I'm going to skip that one. February 6th, tomorrow is Mardi Gras celebration, and while we're having the Mardi Gras celebrations, the daily activities at the Senior Center won't be in effect. Wednesday, February the 7th, the Lotteria Mexican Bingo. That's from 1 to 2:15, $1 for 2 cards per person. And then they're having Mahjong tournament on February the 8th from 10 to 3. That's $25 a person. Everybody, I know our wives and everyone loves Mahjong. And then they're having the karaoke and brownie social coming up Monday, February the 12th. Wednesday, February the 14th, closed for daily activities. That's Valentine's Day luncheon, and it'll actually be on Valentine's Day this year. There's a whole bunch of things. If you get a chance, go online and take a look at the activities that are going on. I do want to do and give a shout out to Shade Saldana. She's an employee at the Senior Activity Center, and she's been putting in double duty and just has been doing a wonderful job. She does it with such grace and a cheerful presence every time she shows up. Her helper and other coworker, Jenny, has been out with some medical issues now for a while. And Shade has just done a wonderful job. She is, if you see her, give her a pat on the back, because she's really working hard and doing wonderful for the seniors. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Nothing this
Councilmember
evening for
Matranga.
me.
Councilmember Aaronworth. Well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since these other two threw me under the bus, I did miss the January meeting. I was trying really hard. Lisa Camp, you're looking at me like, what the? But I was in Orlando. Had a flight early that morning, Monday morning, fly back. You think that's pretty easy? It's a 2-hour flight. But no, oh God, there was bad weather here that day, and apparently flights weren't coming in, so we kept getting delayed. In fact, we boarded this plane 3 times, and 2 times they made us get back off the plane. We went back to the gate, got off, and reboarded. The 3rd time we finally made it off the ground, and we're coming across the Gulf. Everything looked good by my way of thinking, but then, you know, I start to feel the airplane slowing down. You know what I'm talking about, Rusty? And I think, this is not good. This is not good. Why are we slowing down over the Gulf? Then they start turning north. Oh, we're diverting to New Orleans. Must be something. Houston still. No, we didn't. We did a full 360, and then we did divert. We diverted to College Station. So we sat there on the ground, and this whole time I'm thinking, I think I can make it. I think I can make it. But when we got to College Station, I thought, sorry, Steve. You got the meeting, so thank you for filling in for me. Appreciate it. All right, enough said. Item 6, public comment. In order to comply with the provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council may not deliberate any item not listed on the agenda. As such, City Council will listen to public comment and may, 1, refer the item to City Management for further action, or 2, direct staff for the placement of said item on a future agenda. During public comment, the public shall comply with rules of decorum. So let's see. Chris Johnson. That was a pretty big-eyed look. That catch you off guard?
Well, I was listening, and I was still thinking about those kids that you had up, and they did such a good job. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to be heard. I'm here because you're going to talk about the Friendswood Parkway today, and I made the unfortunate agreement with my wife to build a house at 36 Wilderness Trail, which is now, I guess, in earshot or a 9-iron or wherever this road is going to go. One of the things that has happened through this process is we've had a hard time, myself and a number of the neighbors, with the clarity or the transparency of what's going to happen. And I think you can appreciate when you're investing a ton of money in your property and building your forever home here in Friendswood, that you want to have the transparency so that you can make decisions. And I will tell you, everyone feels like we just haven't had that. So today you have an interlocal agreement that's on the agenda, and I'll tell you, I don't know what it means. It's not clear from what that interlocal agreement says what's supposed to happen. It says there's going to be a thoroughfare study. Well, I hope that's true. I hope that what that means is that the folks are going to get together and trying to figure out where this road needs to go with all of the interested parties. But it's also not clear to me how this is going to affect the proposed Tanos development that's supposed to go on that 40 acres, which is incidentally right next door to me. That development was preliminarily approved by Planning and Zoning back on September 28th. And so what's not clear about what you're going to talk about today is how does it affect that preliminary master plan approval, which shows that road making a hard left turn down Wilderness Trail and then a hard right turn, 10 or 15 feet from where my bedroom's being built. So these are the questions that we have is what does this mean? This is an old idea. You saw that there's letters attached to it of support from Ken Clark, of all people, God rest him, and that's from 2021. So it's not a new idea, but what I would encourage the council as part of their discussion today, it's not a new idea, but no one really understands it. And so and I'll tell you, we've tried to work with the folks to understand it, and I'm not sure that anybody understands. Because obviously, I think the one thing everybody understands or believes is that there needs to be a road, but I don't think there's any consensus on where it needs to go or how it needs to happen. Our concern, of course, is that there's already preliminary approval of a land plan that shows it going a certain way. We don't know whether this changes that, whether this is something different, what this is supposed to determine, who's supposed to be involved. It says sponsors, it says stakeholders. These are all questions that I hope the council will get answers to. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Don Johnson. Johnson and Johnson. Yes.
Thank you very much. I know most of you, and you know me, I'm Don Johnson. And I just wanted to get up, and I know that you all are very aware of the election dates for sign up for city council, but I don't know if everybody's aware that election dates are open also for the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. Those will be closing, February 16th at 4 p.m. And a lot of you may not know, those are essentially paid positions. Those folks get paid for going to meetings. So I know you all sit in meetings for hours and hours and hours and don't get anything for it. So, hey, here might be an opportunity to switch over and go to an organization where you only have to go to 2 meetings a month. They're about 30 minutes long, and you actually get paid for it. And I've been told they've recently appointed some new people there that really are inexperienced, so therefore you need not have any experience. All you need to do is sit on the board, and long enough you will eventually figure it out. That kind of concerns me because I am very much into flooding and the things that we need to do, and I'm a little bit scared when I hear, yeah, we're just going to put some new people on there, and experience doesn't matter, qualifications don't matter. I'm hoping that somebody like Robert, will wind up signing up, and getting on that board, so I can go home and I don't have to worry about going to those meetings or watching that anymore. Anyway, the subject of submitting applications, it's open now. I would encourage anybody that might be listening to the broadcast. There were thousands of people that flooded in Harvey. Flooding is still a potential concern in Friendswood. We are still the pinch point on the hourglass between Pearland and League City. So there's a lot of things that need to be done. And we need people on there that not only experienced, but people that have political contacts, people that are willing to go to Austin, ask our legislature in Austin to help provide funding, and get us through the problems that we always face every time there's a torrential downpour here. Fortunately, it's been very, very dry lately. We've been in a bit of a drought, so that saved us, but that can turn around at any time, as we know, and we have water coming down the streets and have a problem with that. Anyway, I won't brag on here any longer, but if you all know anybody personally, let them know it's time to sign up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Jason Jones.
Good evening, everyone. Look out, this time I have notes. I understand I'm on a time limit, so I'm really just going to go ahead and dive in. As is obvious to many of you by now, I make an effort to attend as many of these meetings as possible. Across the city, county meetings, and this has been the case since around 2019. Actually, among my notes, I have the letter I got from the city of Friendswood for the first time I spoke at a council meeting, signed by the mayor. In that time, I have witnessed not only how you conduct the business of our city, but I think of equal importance how you all conduct yourselves as you do so. I've of course seen disagreements, which is expected and I would actually think encouraged. But what I haven't seen is any sense of general disagreeability. Whether there's a question from a council member to another for clarification on a topic, or the seeming ease each member can get a second on a motion for discussion. Excuse me. Additionally, from what I understand, the process of getting an action item or issue on the agenda is neither difficult nor controversial either. A modern middle out board that empowers each member to conduct the business of the community that they love to the best of their ability. It takes a lot of moving parts for this to occur. Not only do council and the mayor commit their time and expertise to conduct the business of the people, but our City of Friendswood staff does as well, with full acknowledgement that evening meetings make for a really long day for you guys. For my part, this does not go unnoticed. Over the last several years, I have come to know and respect each of you, and that I have been able to come into contact with. And I certainly appreciate the council members and city staff that have helped teach me and whom have helped guide me along the way as I've tried to learn more about how this all works. With that all said, I want to take what I have learned here and answer the call for greater service to our community. So I would like to introduce myself in that capacity. My name is Jason Jones, and I am running for position 6 on the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. For everyone in attendance and anyone who is watching at home, please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions as we come up to the election. Thank you all for your time. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, item 7, work session topics. 7A, presentation and discussion regarding short-term rentals. Director of Community Development, Aubrey Harbin.
Good evening.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Days ago.
Thank you. All right. So we have 2 pretty informal work session items tonight. The intent with these 2 topics is just to come to you before the commission spent a lot of time drafting ordinances, and these are items that we need to have some direction before we spend a lot of time on them. So just some questions to keep in mind, as we go through the presentation, is what type of regulations you might want to see for these. If you have any feedback on an approach to short-term regulation or rental regulations, if there's best practices from other cities that you've heard of or you want us to investigate more.
Just for clarity, currently we have no regulations regarding short-term rentals.
Correct. We do not regulate them at all. So part of the beginning of this conversation is we did adopt the hotel occupancy tax. And so we can collect hotel occupancy tax off of the short-term rentals. It's allowed by state law. So want to start off on what a short-term rental is, and basically it's the rental of any residential structure or a portion of a residential structure for a period of less than 30 days in areas that are zoned for residential uses. So it generally does not include bed and breakfast, hotels, extended stay hotels, motels, corporate apartments, dormitories, or boarding houses. So these are the facilities that are usually advertised on Airbnb, VRBO, TripAdvisor, and those kind of websites. So in Friendswood, I searched Airbnb and all the websites. I could only find about 10. Obviously, I think there's more, probably more than that in town, but that's about all I could find online. We haven't had an overwhelming amount of complaints. They've been pretty few, but we have had a few. One location was a noise complaint in 2022, and then a parking complaint in 2021. And then we have received some concerns at the counter in CDD about a particular location as well, but we don't regulate them in any way, so we really couldn't help them. Again, like I said, the hotel occupancy tax, we did adopt that. So the state collects 6% off of these rentals, and then we're entitled to collect 7%. The state and the county will not collect the money for us. We have to collect it ourselves. So in looking at some other cities, it's kind of all over the place. So City of Clear Lake Shores limits the number. They only, I think, allow 20 on the island. They have a waiting list. I think there's questions about whether or not that is on the up and up. But the fees that different cities charge for the registrations is more what we were looking at. They range anywhere from like $25 to $1,000. And just look, like all these cities do have hotel occupancy tax. Most of them do require a 24/7 local contact. I'm going to jump to the next slide. So this was the research. Some of them publish on the website and different things. So this is kind of some of the actions that are related to high regulation, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So posting information to the website, a map or a list, notifying property owners within 200 feet, and including a 24/7 contact for the property if there are issues. Good neighbor brochures for renters. It's basically just an information sheet that's left at the house so that they have information necessary while they're staying there. In-person orientation of city rules, including the noise ordinance, termination notice to let the city know when the unit is no longer a rental, monitoring sources of advertisement and requiring the permit number to be included in their advertisements, permits posted on site, contact person available 24/7, and penalties for not registering or for violations. So there's kind of a low, moderate, and high way to approach this, I guess. So a low level of regulation would be to keep it like it is. We're not going to regulate or register them at all. These levels impact staff in a similar way. So the low regulation would have no impact on staff. A moderate regulation would be to just have them register so that we have information and we can reach out or we can collect the taxes from them, or it can be a voluntary, that they pay the taxes voluntarily. But again, we have information to base that on. That would most likely affect CDD for permitting, and then ASO for processing tax payments. And then a high regulation would be an annual permit with inspections and collection of taxes. So that would affect a lot more departments. So our question tonight is if we have any guidance on any level of action.
So are we on the clock to do anything?
No.
We could just leave it as it is if we wanted to. It's not tied to when the first hotel opens and we start collecting, because we will collect taxes from when these boutique hotels start to open.
Yes, sir.
I assume.
Yes.
We do have to make, whether or not you do low regulation or not, we do have to start making an effort towards collecting the hotel occupancy tax from those existing. So there will be some movement by that of staff because we have to equitably charge short-term rentals much like a hotel.
I've got a question. Does the HOA have the power to not allow these to work? Who has the higher power on this on these rentals? Could an HOA per se not allow them in their neighborhood?
I don't know.
I know you see that in Galveston, like I think Jamaica Beach or some of these that some neighborhoods don't allow. I mean, I don't see that problem happening here, but I just didn't know what the power of the neighborhoods were compared to these set of rules.
I don't know that even HOAs can prohibit them. I think that's where a lot of these regulations are coming into play. You can't tell a property owner you can't rent your property. And so like I said, the regulations are trying to help with that.
Well, if I had to solve this in like 5 seconds, I would say let's do moderate. Let's approach this at the moderate level to start and see how that goes. But I'm just spitballing.
I just had a quick question. Is this something that staff wants to get bogged down in? I mean, from what I'm looking at, we only have 10 properties that we could probably locate. Then we're looking at the effort that you guys are going to have to put in to draw up all these manuals and everything. I think the more, if we really had some 60 or 80 or 100 of these, I could see us really stepping in and going, hey guys, we've got some enforcement to do here. And we've got situations where there could be fire hazards. We only have 10. And I noticed that Dickinson, they're NA across the board. So right now, until we really have a situation or a problem where this causes some real headaches, I don't know why we would jump all over this and do it now. We don't even have a hotel yet. I think it could be brought up again in a year or when we do. But collecting, self-regulating, tell them to turn in their tax. I don't know if you'd get any unless you were putting out a regulation. I just at this time with as few rentals as we have, I don't know if I'd like to see y'all get burdened down in that unless y'all just want to start figuring out how you want to regulate it. I don't know.
Councilmember Matranga.
I mean, I understand your point, but I guess I'm going to look at it a little different way. You know, we've got Great Wolf Lodge opening up in 2024. It's, as I look at the map, you know, less than 2 miles from the city of Friendswood's border. So it's conceivable to me that with that opening up that close by, we could see this more and more. Now, I talked to City of Galveston council member, and you know, again, they are at a whole different level than we will ever be. You know, they have over 5,000 short-term rentals. You know, gosh, I think if we get a lot, we'll still be less than 50. So a whole different level, and I get that. But the 3 things I wanted to pass along that were recommended to me, the kind of lessons learned by them is annual registration is critical for having a local 24/7 contact. So not just a one-time registration, but an annual registration so that you have current information. What they also told me was that they have contracts with some of the larger rental companies such that they collect the tax and remit the tax back to the city. So I was told, look into that to see, you know, how possible that is. And what the last point was, back to the point about HOAs and that sort of thing, they said that the highest, looks like the highest level that the court is recognizing is deed restrictions, even above, you know, local government ordinances. So the key place is deed restrictions, but barring that, then our ordinances do come into play. So I just wanted to, you know, bring that up. I think it is worth looking at because I am personally getting calls from HOA presidents going, what can you do about this? Because it's, you know, I don't have a short-term rental anywhere near me in my house, but there's some in other subdivisions that have them close by. And when it's next door, it's a problem. When they're, you know, so that's my thinking, is get ahead of the curve on this a little bit before that the water park opens up. Could help us later on and handle this. So that was the key things I wanted to mention, that I think it's already a problem for some people out there. And I guess the one other thing I'll lastly mention, the thing that Galveston's really focusing on is the companies that are buying residences and taking them from a 4-bedroom house, which you would assume, you know, at most there's going to be 6 or 7 people in it. Now they're going from 20 to 30 people because they're taking out all the beds and putting in bunk beds, in multiple bunk beds in every room. So when you're asking about ordinance directions, if we do work on this, you know, is there a viable way to limit that sort of thing? Because I don't think any of us want that, and the cars that would come with that, you know, all next door, across the street, or anything like that. Anyway, I don't know how much of that's we can regulate, but that's one point that they're looking at as a concern.
Councilmember Hanks.
So I really agree with everything Joe just said. I don't, and Robert, I don't want y'all to have any additional work, but this has been on the news a lot lately, and some bad instances of people that had short-term rentals in areas that are more residential, you know, homeowners like Katy and other places where they rent it to you know, somebody, and then a whole lot of people show up and bad things happen. So I don't know how you regulate that for sure. I think we need to look at that. But I do think they should be registered. And then, I don't know if we have to do it right away, but I think we should have a place to register, to know who to call, that kind of thing.
I saw Councilmember Rocky first, Mayor Pro Tem Rocky, and then you.
I think I'm in line with almost everything up here. I wouldn't lift a finger to collect any money. It's trivial. But I would think that some ability to have a penalty for bad behavior or some sort of registration process would be helpful. So like I said, I wouldn't spend the money on whatever it's going to be, $1,000 a year for trying to collect this. But I'd say that if somebody had one of these and one of their renters misbehaved, if we could have a way to crack down.
Well, if we forced them to register, I think we would have contact information.
Yeah,
We'd know
go after
where these homes are, and PD would have them on the radar. Go ahead, Councilmember Branks.
I tend to agree with what's been said as well. And also, I think when you have so few, I think that's a great time to learn how to do this as well before you have a large number to deal with. I know when the Super Bowl was here in Houston, people were renting out their homes like crazy. We've got the World Cup coming in 26, in addition to the Great Wolf Lodge. So I think that our little community is going to become more and more attractive to these types of ideas. So I would rather see us, sometimes like being a parent, it's easier to start out a lot tougher. And if you see it's an overkill, then you can always back off. But I think I would be in favor of the annual registration, so we know who to call if there's an issue or if there's a problem. So that I'd be inclined to agree with the others that have spoken.
So you got enough?
Yes.
Registration probably to start.
Yeah, which we can weigh some of the odds. Or I guess options. Obviously, our software and tracking and all that, but the third party might be a better option. So we can look into some of those solutions.
Great.
All right.
Sounds good. Okay, let me read this. Item 7B. Receive and discuss an update regarding mobile food vendors. Presented by Director of Community Development, Aubrey Harbin.
All right. So this is the same, again, just looking for guidance and information. A couple of months ago, there was a gentleman that came to council and was asking to allow mobile units. So this is on P&Z's to-do list this year as an item to, if we want to address it, So just to look at what all mobile vendors are or could be, would include food trucks, coffee trailers, food carts, like mobile little push carts, tents with vehicles, refrigerated trucks, windshield repair, tents, and donation boxes are also included.
I like this format, by the way. Usually the last slide is questions, and then your first slide is questions. What are you thinking about?
Get you to thinking.
Yeah.
So currently we do allow some mobile vendors, and this is the way we allow them are with special events hosted by a business owner. So we do have a special event permit for privately owned properties, so they can come in and get a special event permit. And so vendors can be invited, and that includes grand openings, the food truck Fridays, festivals, and things like that. Mobile vendors can also be vendors at city functions and Chamber of Commerce functions. The farmers market is available as well. And then we do allow food truck parks. So if a property owner wanted to come in and develop a food truck park and provide restrooms, seating, a lot of food trucks don't necessarily sell drinks. So one of the popular things with food truck parks is to have a drink station and seating and shade, but that also provides electricity for the food trucks. It provides, sewer, dump stations or whatever for the food trucks. So that is currently allowed. So what we don't allow is the mobile units to come in and park on people's properties right now. We have been successful in keeping clothing donation boxes out of our city. If you drive through League City, Pearland, they're just everywhere. But those are businesses collecting donations and reselling them for profit. So our code enforcement office has been successful in keeping those out because their business is not being run out of permanent site-built buildings. So Pros of mobile units would be increased sales tax for the city. Mobile vendors should pay taxes to the cities where they're making the sales. It would be a variety of products offered to citizens. It provides opportunities for startup businesses, and then the state and county health district regulations, especially for food vendors, do apply. Cons are aesthetics, such as generators and tents, restroom availability to workers and patrons, the number of units throughout the city. If we allow them, we can't say, you can have one, but you can't. So it's kind of a, if we open that can of worms. And then parking on property without owner's consent, illegal signage such as flag banners around the mobile units, and then competition to brick and mortar stores. So it's a tough one, sorry.
So, since we currently allow them in these special cases, I guess, what are you asking us? If they could just come in randomly and
if we want to open it up to allow them to
come in and
without permits,
they would still have to have a permit, wouldn't they?
I mean,
this would allow for them to be here permanently. So right now they have to have a special events permit that limits them to a specific period of time.
Is there a big push for this?
I've got some questions. I know I had emailed about this a couple years ago. And one of the biggest questions I've got with my background is how this city's lacking a lot of restaurants and different things. And I think there's a lot of demand to bring restaurants here, and sometimes food trucks allow a segue to a possible brick and mortar. I don't think you want like a big overabundance of them. I don't think it brings a lot of tax revenue per se. I think it brings more of maybe getting people out. If we had, I've always been in favor of putting them at the parks and limiting the amount that go there through medallions that you can, set up, maybe 5, 10 of them that can park at the city parks. But I think that in this economy right now, I think it's going to be hard to get brick and mortars. I mean, I see that in my business now. It's a big risk with inflation, and I think there's a way to venture down and look at this without overcrowding the streets with them. You didn't mention mobile groomers. Is that on there? I mean, with the pet trucks and all that?
That if they're
Where
going
does that
to
fall into?
if they're going to an individual person's
Yeah,
house,
they come to my house.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
They just can't like park in front of City Hall and set up shop.
My thoughts on this is I'd like to see some discussion on it if there's a committee to talk about. I think it's a trending thing. We're seeing a food park basically open up on the corner of 528 in Bay Area right now, and not a lot of, again, it's not a lot of tax revenue, but I think there could be some camaraderie if they're at parks and bringing people out, and they're good for the community. And maybe they will create some tax revenue, or maybe you could have a food truck like Pearland's doing down the road, some kind of a food truck park up somewhere that does create revenue. And I think it's something that our city definitely has the culture to look at. I just don't know what the possible path is. And I don't think that it will hurt restaurants, because there's a lot of restaurants, Torchies, Pluckers. I can name 100 of them that started a food truck. And so I think that if any restaurant's afraid of a food truck, you can't, competition's good.
Councilmember Hanks?
Yeah. So I appreciate your comments. But I was going to say, I don't want it to look like Bay Area and 528.
No.
And I don't want the windshield repair and all that kind of stuff. So I would not be in favor of just opening it up. I don't know if there's a compromise somewhere, but if we had a food truck park, that might be kind of fun. But I would not be interested in just opening it up to anyone anywhere.
Yeah, which a food truck park would be allowed. We need a property owner to step forward with some property and.
And Aubrey, it says mobile vending. We can't differentiate between food vendors and another type of mobile vendor selling anything.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not for the like the windshield thing and that park on 528. That's not what I'm thinking of. I'm more thinking how to incorporate them in a smaller a smaller controlled atmosphere where they're not just overrunning the city.
Right. So, for example, if we had a coffee truck that hung out in one of the parks every morning and people knew that's where they could go to get their favorite cup of coffee, that's allowed right now, or it's not?
No.
Okay, it's not allowed.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought you told us. Okay.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Rocky, sorry.
You know, I'm looking at these pictures you have up here, but I would hate to see a bunch of food trucks parked at Stevenson Park every day. You know, now I agree. Food trucks are, you know, there's guys that own food trucks that have won Beard Awards, you know, for their food. So they can be really nice and really high end. But I would think that you'd have a bunch of them lined up at Stevenson Park, and it would kind of ruin the ambiance of the park. Now, if you had another area that you could concentrate them or something, you know, it might be okay. But I don't think this is a huge need for us, and I don't know if we have a lot of people really demanding it.
Where's the push for this? Is there a push coming from somewhere for this?
It was mentioned a few years ago, I think during COVID, you know, everything was kind of going in that direction. But then also, like I said, the gentleman that owns the coffee trailer, you know, came and addressed you all. And it's just kind of been one of those topics that's been hanging out there. So it's on P&Z's list to do this year. So if we're good, then we can just mark that off of our list and move on to something else.
I think we're good, personally. Did you hear that, Willie? Willie Anderson sitting in the back of the room, folks. We're about to appoint him to planning and zoning tonight. So, see, you already got some work in front of you.
So is the shaved ice place in the Perry's parking lot not a mobile thing?
It's built on a permanent foundation, so they've been there for a long. It's on a site-built permanent foundation.
Going back to the question that was raised by Councilmember Aaronworth, though, if you know of a property owner that's wanting to venture into this field, that staff is open to working with them to open up a food truck park here in Friendswood.
Absolutely.
So if you opened up a food truck park, it could be designated for food.
Correct. It could be designated for food, as well as limit who comes in. So we wouldn't have to. The city wouldn't be regulating this many burger joints versus this many cake balls versus that would be done by the private property owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got enough, Aubrey? On
I think so. Thank you.
okay. Item 7C, presentation and discussion regarding replacement of something called a ladder truck. And our Director of Emergency Services, Brian Mansfield, who is not the fire marshal. Now the fire marshal works for him. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having us tonight. Before I get going and we talk about our Tower 21 and possible replacement of that, I do want to note that we do have several people here tonight with the Friendswood Volunteer Fire Department. I want to take notice of our president of the Volunteer Fire Department, Greg Otto's here, our fire chief, Stan Kowalski, and our assistant chiefs, Matt Fuentes and Mike Jankowski is here as well. So we do have a lot of folks here tonight supporting this and here to show their support for what we're doing.
Yeah, you guys aren't going unnoticed, by the way. So I'm glad you introduced them, but there's obviously a lot of firefighters in here.
Oh yeah.
Hope this place doesn't catch on fire.
So they did do a goals and needs assessment when looking for and what the next steps were for our future, for the future of the city, making sure that they want to provide the highest level of service and continue to do that. They have been doing that and continue to do that, and also comply with industry standards as they look for a new apparatus. We do have an increasing number of multi-story buildings and also buildings that have some uniqueness to get to them, and so that as well. And then also, as we go into 25 years having this truck, our operation and maintenance costs continue to increase of the maintaining the truck that we currently have in place, and making sure that that's noted as well for the future or where we're at. Some of the specifications for our fire truck, making sure that it was a rear mounted ladder and that we maintain the length that we had for 100 foot. We have our platform basket, so making sure that that is still something that we want to maintain and keep. And then we also have the availability for that quint, which allows us to have both water pump, ladders, ground ladders, and hose as well available for that apparatus. making sure that we have additional storage for all types of equipment, and that we are meeting our needs for future warranty and safety features as well.
With a 100-foot reach, what size building could you fight a fire? What's the highest building you could?
I'll let one of the operational guys.
4 stories?
70
70?
feet. Okay.
Because you're not going straight up, obviously.
No.
You want
to climb it? No, that's a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio.
Thanks, Chief.
So making sure y'all heard at 70 foot is what he said.
Thank you.
Oh, did I go the wrong way? My bad. And then also moving forward as we deploy our new apparatus, making sure that we have training for it. Also, one of the things they looked at is a current standard in operations of using that, trying to minimize the amount of movement on that. So basically not having to restart that from the beginning, making sure that what they have in place works, and that we will continue to monitor the growth and the needs of the city, as well as that operation and maintenance cost. So the volunteer fire department last year put a committee together to look at the aging ladder truck and to see what our needs were for the future. Real quick, I want to run through, these are your Friendswood Volunteer Fire Department firefighters and officers within the department that are going to be the future here for a long time, and they're the ones that took the time to look and see what would be the best thing to recommend for y'all tonight and for the cities. We have Brent Cockerham, Nathan Cohn, TJ Gonzalez, Dan Sindelar, Brad Magnus, John Harkness, and Thomas Cromus all served on that committee. They did look at several trucks, not just the 3 you see right here, but they looked at several before, landed on these 3 to do a deep dive as to what would be the best for the city. And looking through them, there is a lot of similarities, not a whole lot of price difference when you look at what they have. There is a little bit of a range there, but not too much. They're all within the same ballpark. Some of the notable differences were warranty and some of the things that were included. And then landing on the Pierce as a recommendation going forward. A couple of the reasons with that is we currently do have a Pierce. The truck that we have now, the platform Pierce, is what we're used to, what they are used to. And then also we have the shop is very close to here, right on the edge of the city limits. It allows for a lot less downtime when they're getting that repairs done as well. There is almost a 40-month build for the truck. You will see that it was in the 25-year, or it's slated for fiscal year 25. We're coming to you now asking for a commitment for that truck so we can start build on it. 39 to 40 months is a long way. You're looking at the 27 fiscal year. But we have to sign a commitment for that. If we don't get that done soon, then the prices will continue to increase on us. So the sooner we can get that done, the better we are as far as committing to that price range. Questions?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, thank you. Just for those not intimate with ladder trucks, what's the primary purpose? Why do we need a ladder truck?
I'm going to let one of the operations chief, you want to talk about that? I'm going to let him on operational side because I think it's better coming from your chief.
Stan Kozlowski, Fire Chief. Councilman Matranga, the purpose of a ladder truck is multiform. One is it gives us an aerial platform to work from. That could either be for rescue or for aerial master streams to be able to get above a fire if we have to go defensive. That is the best way to extinguish it and reduce collateral property damage called exposures. If we can get an angle on a house fire that's quite involved. We had one just recently over on St. Louis and Forest Bend, and the position of the aerial master stream, yes, that house was a total loss, but there were houses on either side of it that those people got to stay in their homes that night. So that's one, in a defensive measure. It actually saves property. The other is that if you do have a fire on a lower level in a multi-story commercial area, keep in mind that your stairways may very well, even though they're well protected and they follow code, that they could very well become a chimney. So the idea of being able to move people from the upper levels is important. And then to be able to access roof areas, which is another access by it. Both of these platforms gives us easy access, and they do have, if you notice, a lot of our buildings, you don't see any HVAC equipment or any environmental equipment on it because they have parapets that cover them. And being able to take that platform up, putting it in position, and then remove another ladder to be able to get down over that parapet and put firefighters on that roof before the fire or the emergency spreads any further is critical. So right now we do have this unit, our unit in stock, and it is rolling on any type of confirmed or believed structure fire first out. Gives it better position and gives us a method to get ahead of it.
No, thank you. Great answer.
Nice job, Chief.
I think I saw it in writing, but I want to confirm it. How old is our existing truck that we have now?
It's a 2000. So as of this year, it'll be 24 years old.
Okay. And what happens once we get the new truck, if we so approve it, and we get a new truck and it shows up in 39 months, what happens to the old truck? Ladder truck.
That is an excellent question. Typically in the past, it has gone to auction. Some of those have been successful, some of them have not been successful. It's an auction, so you don't know. It depends upon what the market is. One of the issues we have with this particular unit is we have truly used it to end of life. We have squeezed everything we can out of this. And in fact, one of the reasons why we are looking for another one is it's gone beyond the manufacturer's recommended length of 20 years, and they're not making some of the electronic parts for it anymore. So things that we have on it have been adapted to it, but technically they're out of spec for that piece of equipment. So hopefully there's somebody that's looking for a 2000 Pierce, either for parts or maybe a collector's item, that'll be able to pick it up. But that goes back into the city area. You know, they don't do trade-ins on them.
Right. Okay. No, thank you very much. That was all the questions I had. Thank you.
Questions? Mayor Pro Tem Rocky.
You know, I asked around about this, and we heard a lot about this at the banquet the other night. But, you know, and somebody asked me, well, why doesn't the guy that built these 4-story buildings have to pay for these? And one of the things and when Mike and I were, what's been 7 or 8 years ago, we did that. We were on that fire study with Mo and all them. One of the things I learned about the ladder trucks is not only will they go up and do all the things that you asked for, but they allow extension, so you can put a safety distance between our firefighters and a fire if you need to, and that I think is a very valuable aspect of this truck. I'm going to vote for it. One of the things is, in my time on council, in public safety, we've never scrimped.
No.
Never. We've always been willing to gear up our firefighters, our EMS, our police with what they needed to make this a safe community all the way around. And I think this is just another example. It's very expensive, but, you know, you got to have one. So.
Councilmember Griffon.
I was also at the banquet the other night, and I know that there was a lot of discernment that went into selecting the fire trucks that we're being presented with tonight. I know the 7-man committee, I think they went through 9 manufacturers.
Yes, sir.
And when they first submitted the FMO to the FMO department, they sent it back because the file was too thick.
Mm-hmm.
And
we couldn't get it to go through the email.
They couldn't get it to go through the email. But I too am going to support this. I know that there was a lot of discernment. There was a lot of research that went into this fire truck. And I think, like Steve said, we don't scrimp when it comes to public safety. And I think it's something with the old truck that's now 24 years old. I think it's costing us some $50,000 a month or so to keep it running. Sometimes you're spending good money after bad, and the warranties and all that stuff I think is important. So yeah, I'll be supporting this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Is that it?
I think that's it. I just want to, stand up and applaud all the firefighters in here, because we don't get a chance. Yes. And I just want to say thank you all.
I want to mention all 5 of the top responders were limping or on crutches at the banquet the other night. So that should tell you something.
It's a tough job, and we're glad that you guys are here to do it.
And volunteers.
Yes.
Thank
Absolutely.
Okay. Item 8, City Manager's Report. City Manager Murad Kabiri.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You may have recognized, or you may recognize the individual in the photo. Chief Josh Rogers accepted an award on behalf of former Chief Robert Wieners. He was selected as the Helping Hand Award recipient by the Cole Gordon Foundation at the Chamber Gala a few weeks back. Chief is still out actively fighting his current medical condition, but we do appreciate all that he did for our community for well over 24 years. Thank you, Chief Rogers, for accepting the award on behalf of Bob, and we hope to see him soon.
All right. Can I interrupt you and say, I
Yes.
think the lights were out when y'all took that picture too, right? Yeah. We lost the electricity during that.
What I want to know is if Robert Wieners would have worn the 70s attire had he attended.
He's probably got some in his closet.
That's true. That's true. From one PD item to another, our Friendswood Police Department recently hosted the Texas Narcotics Officers Association training here in Friendswood. We had over 60 officers from around the region attend. This was a great opportunity not only to help out our community and offer this training service. Did something fall down?
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody's standing
We need a ladder truck.
I will handle the.
It's parked next door.
I will handle the presentations this evening so no one gets hurt.
A room full of first responders. So.
Right.
Do you have any enemies, Stan? No. So our PD hosted a narcotics training for the region. It was a good opportunity, one, to provide this training for our own officers that are here in Friendswood, but as well as recruit other officers potentially that are in the market to relocate to another agency. I applaud Captain, our Chief Rogers, for hosting this event, as well as letting those know that are interested that we have a $15,000 signing bonus for police officers looking to come to a better agency. So thank you, Chief. Last item, our utility impact fee. We had a lengthy discussion at the last council meeting in which these impact fees were adopted. Y'all sent me home with the direction to come back to y'all with some options with regard to the development of certain lots in the community that may be exempted potentially from having to pay impact fees. When we looked at this matter further, there is not a legal mechanism by which to waive impact fees. The state is very specific that it has to be for either economic development and or for affordable housing. In light of that, we do work with various individuals that are bringing economic development to our community. Our opportunities, if there is a donation of property in exchange for consideration of impact fees, but at this time there's not a uniform blanket proposal we can put before council for consideration. And that is my report, unless y'all have any questions.
Only thing that I want to say is leave it up to me to move a motion that's illegal in the state of Texas or we don't have an ordinance for. It's kind of a mode of operation, I guess.
Well, I'll take the, I'll apologize for that. I should have interjected last month.
And the rookie mayor allowed you. Shouldn't have.
All right, item 9, business items. 9A, consider authorizing the approval of an interlocal agreement with the Harris-Galveston Area Council in relation to the Friendswood Parkway Corridor Study. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Branson, Mayor Pro Tem Rocky. Bill, evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I think I'm far enough ahead to where it'll miss me if it falls. So, real quick, I wanted to go through the project background of what exactly we're talking about right here. So I'm going to read from you the scope of work for the corridor study that was released through an RFQ and by the HGAC, and they have a consultant that they've selected. So let me read that to you for a little bit. The HJC has established a partnership with the City of Friendswood to conduct a corridor study of Friendswood Parkway from FM 2351 to FM 528. The ultimate plan for Friendswood Parkway is to extend the parkway through Friendswood, starting at FM 528, into Brazoria County, where it will connect to FM 2351, and eventually Pearland Parkway. The completion of this initiative will be a regional effort by the City of Friendswood, City of Pearland, Galveston County, Brazoria County, and TxDOT. The goal of this study is to provide a greater level of mobility for residents by determining the preferred alignment for Friendswood Parkway. When complete, the 4-lane divided parkway will provide an alternate route to Interstate 45 South, FM 518, and also will serve as an alternate evacuation route for areas near the Gulf Coast. The study will include a corridor analysis for Friendswood Parkway from FM 2351 to FM 528, planning level analysis for of alternatives that include multimodal options, and planning level cost estimate associated with each alternative. Included in this study will be data collection, the analysis of existing conditions. The consultant will develop a transportation network model, which includes traffic counts, signal timing, and for basin horizon years. They'll have a alternative analysis. They'll develop an online interactive project map, and they'll develop a planning phase report, which will include the proposed alignment of the street, including right-of-way requirements, cross-sections, and planning level cost estimate. But most importantly, they will have a robust public outreach program to receive feedback from residents and key stakeholders. So that's really the background on that. Let me. This is something that we have mentioned to you guys in the past couple of years. It was a $250,000 grant that was awarded to the city back in 2021. So there has been some time that has elapsed since then. For one reason or another, it's gone on this long. It's part of the Unified Planning work program for the HGAC. So this is just a small part of a much bigger picture of what's going on in the region to improve mobility for residents in the area. So lots of long-term planning going on. We have communicated to the consultant that since then, when this effort first started, we didn't have anything set in stone as far as where the alignment needed to go. Some of the alignment will be driven by what the developers of the properties are willing to do, and will certainly take their input in this effort. But as far as the rest of it is concerned, there's going to be a lot of public input sought.
How will that be done?
I'm sorry?
How will the public input be done?
We're going to have some, there'll be
surveys and town
surveys that will go through online, and there'll also be some town hall meetings.
Has a vendor been selected to do this
Yes.
study?
Yes, sir.
So to add to
Select some?
Hill's comments to some extent, he did mention that this was awarded back in October of 2021. Unfortunately, HGAC, much like a lot of agencies in the planning and engineering field, had been lacking planners. So our project, amongst other entities' projects, were delayed accordingly because of that. Back when we started this process, we didn't have developers that were interested in developing that property. But as you well know, this is a roadway that's been under consideration for 30 plus years. We don't know what's going to come first, the developers or the efforts of HGAC. If the developers go away, much like they have in years past, in the last 30 plus years that this property has been looked at, we need a mechanism by which to get the roadway built. So we have to go through this process to secure federal funding that's offered through the Federal Highway Administration, that's funneled down through the COG that Councilmember Branson was mentioning earlier. Again, there will be public input. Unfortunately, with that process, folks don't like change. So there may be times where they may not be happy with the location of the roadway. It will change somebody's backyard to some extent, but in the long run, it will improve mobility for our region. Take traffic counts off of FM 518, take traffic counts off of Sunset, which throughout peak periods are pretty well congested right now.
You know, what are the other funding mechanisms, Mo? Are the commissioner courts involved, say Brazoria County and Galveston County? I know here in Friendswood, we send a lot of money to Galveston County, and I'm just wondering if the commissioners know what the need is and what the apparent cost of this road's going to be. I mean, we all know right now, if we connected it, what kind of dollar values we're looking at. We've done Black Hawk, so we know what the cost associated with are. Just wondering who our partners are. If it's not the developers, which so far it hasn't been, we have the one, but who are our partners, our
Sure.
stakeholders that will be helping us? TxDOT, I know just to get them to do anything, we'd have to be on their list to do something, and that might be 10 years from now.
Correct.
So I just want to know, how do you move something like this along? I know the COG has their situation, but I'm just wondering about other stakeholders and partners.
So part of it, the process is refining the alignment in order to attract those partners. For instance, we did this similar study on the other side of 528 as it goes towards League City Parkway, and it took 15 years to come to fruition. Ultimately, our main partner was Galveston County. They had a bond election in 2017, and they paid the lion's share, I want to say 3/4 of the cost of the project to complete the project to West Ranch, which West Ranch built their own section of the roadway. Galveston County is a partner, likely will be a partner on this next segment in the future if it's not done by a developer. Brazoria County, City of Pearland, both of which will be partners as well. This is a roadway that will take 15 to 20 years to complete. So the second segment that we're studying right now, assuming there is no developers in sight, is still going to be 10 or 15 years out before we're able to secure funding. And we would also have to provide local dollars in order to make that a reality. So again, we're hedging our bets, trying to get as much participation as possible to minimize the cost to our impact that impact our taxpayers by finding these other funding solutions.
Councilmember
How
Matranga.
long, you may have said and I missed it, how long is this particular study intended to last?
It'll last about a year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? 7-0. Thanks, Hill. Item 9B. Consider authorizing the purchase of a ladder fire truck from Siddons Martin Emergency Group LLC through the Houston Galveston Area Council for the Friendswood Volunteer Fire Department. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
This is going to be a quick discussion.
No, Mr. Mayor, just
Okay.
and just briefly, you heard Brian's presentation earlier this evening. The truck is desperately needed, and it's nearly a 40-month lead time. Though we're approving it this evening and authorizing its construction, we don't have to pay for it right now. It will impact our budget in FY27, in which case we'll bring funding opportunities to you at that time.
Okay. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you all for being here. Feel free to evacuate the building. Okay, item 10, proposed resolutions and ordinances. Consider an ordinance amending the city's general budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024 by approving Budget Amendment 3 and providing for supplemental appropriation and or transfer of certain funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. All in favor? Item 10B, consider on first reading an ordinance approving a rate adjustment for solid waste collection and disposal. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, discussion on this?
To hear a little information about
So, Mayor and Council, you may recall when we approved the last extension for Waste Connections through the franchise agreement, I want to say 2 years ago. Now, the agreement included language for an adjustment annually on the anniversary date of that ordinance to take into consideration consumer price index adjustment that take place over the prior year, as well as an adjustment based upon diesel fuel. This particular adjustment does not include that. It's just simply an adjustment based on the CPI this past year. Though we're in a state of reduced inflation, we are not in a state of deflation yet. So they are seeing an increase in impacts to their operational costs, both with labor as well as landfill costs. This is the last year of our contract, so we will be going out for requests for proposals later this calendar year, and hopefully we're able to maintain. We have the lowest garbage service fee in the area, and we provide the most frequency of garbage service as well as heavy trash pickup weekly, whereas other communities don't have those same services. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem.
It does include a 0.9 per 4% fuel adjustment.
My apologies. I'm sorry.
And why is there a fuel adjustment when diesel has gone down over the last year?
The provision is for based on a dollar amount in the contract of $3.60 or $3.65. So it's not a matter of it just going down. If the cost of diesel is in excess of $3.65 per gallon, they're allowed to adjust their fuel cost.
And did they do an average over the year? Or
Yes.
I think it's been less than that.
Oh,
nah. Well, I can
believe
sell
it's
for a waste company, and theirs has been less than this for most of the year. I do want to make one comment when next year for you all that are here. Trash pickup is going straight through the roof. Okay, one of the reasons is that basically 70% of the landfills in Houston are now owned by one company, and they are exerting terrific price pressure on that. The other thing is that it's hard to get, we still have the guys that ride on the back of the trucks, and it's really hard to get people to do that. They have a horrible turnover rate. They're having to pay far more for it, and there's safety issues, and the insurance is really high on those trucks. And I just suspect that when you guys get bids next year, it's going to be eye-opening. So just letting you know.
And going back to the earlier question, in the back of material, they do provide an analysis of the diesel fuel cost over the past year, and it was $3.91 for them per gallon.
Any other? Okay, I got a motion and a second. All in favor? 7-0. Okay, before I mention consent agenda, I have been informed that item F has been pulled from the consent agenda. Marat, you want to tell us what agenda 11F is real quickly?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We've been in communication with the local school district, Friendswood Independent School District, and they've made a request to purchase or to work with us on the acquisition of old police units for use within their fleet. And since we dispose of these vehicles every year, and it's an 18-month lead time to get a new vehicle, I didn't want to not be able to provide that assistance if we're able to come to terms with them. So I've asked for y'all to take no action on this particular item. We will work out the details, and if for whatever reason the district changes their mind, we can put it on a auto auction at another
Do we
month.
need a motion to table item F?
No action taken, just it will die for lack of a motion.
Just the motion to approve the consent agenda
Minus
F.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept that.
Second?
Second. Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, I need my script back. I was gonna, she beat you to the punch. All right, item 12A. It is now 7:10. We will recess into and conduct an executive session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the annual performance of the city attorney. I now reconvene the open meeting of the Friendswood City Council and announce that in accordance with section 551.102 of the Texas Government Code, no action was taken in executive session. We had the city attorney in there with us for crying out loud.
We didn't want to be illegal.
Couldn't violate anything. We now move on to item 13A. Discussion and possible action. Consider taking appropriate action regarding the city attorney's annual performance evaluation. I need a detailed motion on this item. That's what
Mayor, I would like to recommend that we give the city attorney a 3.75% increase.
I wholeheartedly recommend and second the motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Congrats.
No comment. No comments. So you're doing a fantastic
Well
job.
done.
That goes without saying. How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I'll second.
All right. Good, good.